you're not paying me and you're refusing to let me work somewhere else. I sued him for the contract and won. But that was a huge thing to do because everyone advised me not to. You would be going against the titans of the industry, and how would they know how you're going to react next time?
In the constellation of Hollywood legends, few stars burn with the volcanic intensity of Shirley MacLaine. For over 6 decades, this fierce redhead has commanded screens with a combination of vulnerability and steel that has earned her an Oscar, multiple Golden Globes, and a reputation as one of cinema's most uncompromising artists. Her performances in classics like The Apartment, Terms of Endearment, and Steel Magnolias showcase an actress who refuses to settle for anything less than authentic emotional truth. Yet behind the glittering accolades and standing ovations lies a more complex portrait of an artist whose perfectionist standards sometimes ignited creative battlegrounds on film sets. MacLaine's unwavering commitment to her craft has occasionally put her at odds with fellow performers, creating tensions that reveal fascinating insights into the rarefied atmosphere of professional acting. These conflicts weren't born from petty jealousy or ego, but from fundamental disagreements about the sacred art of bringing characters to life. What emerges from these behind-the-scenes encounters is a portrait of an actress so dedicated to excellence that she couldn't tolerate what she perceived as laziness, unprofessionalism, or artistic compromise. Her clashes with certain co-stars illuminate the passionate devotion required for cinematic greatness, while also exposing the delicate chemistry needed when multiple titans of talent share the same creative space. These 6 relationships offer a window into the soul of a legend who never learned to compromise her vision for the sake of keeping peace. 6. Deborah Winger.
It was a very tough shoot. Oh my God, I left.
But why? Because it was emotional, or it was just disjointed?
Chaotic. I truly went to the airport. And I did. And I didn't like how the behavior was going. It wasn't.
The tempestuous relationship between Shirley MacLaine and Deborah Winger during the filming of Terms of Endearment became the stuff of Hollywood legend, a clash between 2 formidable actresses whose opposing philosophies created an atmosphere of electric tension. MacLaine, with her classical training and decades of experience, found herself confronting Winger's immersive method approach, which often blurred the lines between character and reality. According to director James L. Brooks, the friction began almost immediately during rehearsals, when Winger's intense preparation rituals disrupted MacLaine's preferred collaborative process. The most infamous incident occurred during an emotionally charged scene where Winger allegedly lifted MacLaine off the ground during an argument, crossing the boundary between performance and personal confrontation. Crew members reported that MacLaine's reaction was swift and decisive, establishing that such behavior would not be tolerated regardless of artistic justification. Deborah wanted to live inside her character 24 hours a day, recalled costume designer Christy Zia in a film comment interview. But Shirley believed in the discipline of stepping in and out of character with professional control. Their philosophical divide extended beyond methodology to fundamental questions about the actor's responsibility to the ensemble. MacLaine viewed Winger's unpredictable emotional states as selfish and disruptive to the collaborative spirit essential for ensemble work. Production notes from the time reveal that Brooks often had to schedule separate rehearsals and adjust shooting schedules to manage the tension between his 2 leads. The irony wasn't lost on industry observers that their off-screen animosity translated into powerful on-screen chemistry, their real friction adding layers of authenticity to their mother-daughter relationship. Sometimes the best performances come from the most uncomfortable places, MacLaine later reflected in a Variety interview. But that doesn't mean I have to enjoy the journey to get there. 5. Julia Roberts. When Julia Roberts arrived on the Steel Magnolias set in 1989, she brought with her the intoxicating energy of Hollywood's newest sensation, fresh from her breakthrough role that would soon make her America's sweetheart. However, MacLaine's initial enthusiasm for working with the rising star quickly soured as she witnessed what she perceived as Roberts' casual approach to the craft that MacLaine had spent decades perfecting. The generational divide became apparent during early table reads, where Roberts' instinctive, naturalistic style clashed with MacLaine's more structured preparation methods. Director Herbert Ross found himself navigating the delicate dynamics between his veteran ensemble cast and the magnetic newcomer who commanded attention simply by entering a room. MacLaine's frustration centered on Roberts' tendency to rely on charm and spontaneity rather than the deep character work that MacLaine believed the role of Shelby demanded. Julia had this effortless quality that could be mistaken for lack of preparation, observed producer Ray Stark in Empire magazine, but Shirley needed to see the homework behind the magic. The tension reached its peak during the beauty salon scenes, where MacLaine felt Roberts' improvisational choices disrupted the carefully choreographed ensemble work. Crew members reported that MacLaine would often request additional takes, not because of technical issues, but to push Roberts toward what she considered a more committed performance. The younger actress's natural comedic timing, which charmed audiences and critics alike, struck MacLaine as superficial compared to the emotional depths she felt the character required. Their relationship never fully recovered from these early creative disagreements, though both women maintained professional courtesy throughout production. "Talent isn't enough," MacLaine later told a journalist. "You have to earn your place in this business through dedication, not just box office appeal." Roberts, for her part, learned valuable lessons about the expectations that come with working alongside Hollywood royalty. Fourth, Dustin Hoffman. The collision between Shirley MacLaine and Dustin Hoffman represented one of Hollywood's most fascinating, unrealized partnerships. A case study in how two perfectionist approaches to acting can create irreconcilable artistic differences. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, multiple projects brought their names together in development, only to fall apart when their respective teams recognized the potential for creative combustion. MacLaine's frustration with Hoffman's legendary obsession with endless takes and constant character exploration became a topic of conversation among casting directors who witnessed their near collaborations. According to industry insiders, their fundamental disagreement centered on the relationship between preparation and spontaneity in performance. Hoffman's method-trained approach demanded exhaustive exploration of every emotional possibility, often requiring dozens of takes to capture what he considered authentic moments. MacLaine, equally committed to excellence, believed that over-analysis could drain the life from a scene, preferring to arrive fully prepared and trust her instincts in the moment. The most documented clash occurred during pre-production meetings for a dramatic project in the early 1980s, where Hoffman's request for extensive rehearsal time conflicted with MacLaine's preference for discovering character relationships through the filming process. Dustin wanted to psychoanalyze every line, recalled a development executive who witnessed their creative discussions, while Shirley believed that too much preparation could kill the mystery that makes great acting magical. Their mutual respect for each other's talent only intensified their frustration with each other's methods. Both recognized the other's commitment to excellence, but neither could adapt their deeply ingrained creative processes to accommodate such different philosophies. "We're both perfectionists," MacLaine acknowledged in a candid interview, "but we define perfection in completely opposite ways." 3. Frank Sinatra.
I had a channeling the other day.
You channeled him?
No. I had a channeling about something else. One of the people I was wondering about was you, but never mind the answer. And Frank came through.
Frank.
The clash between Frank Sinatra and Shirley MacLaine during the production of Some Came Running in 1958 represented a pivotal moment in MacLaine's early career, when the young actress discovered that her commitment to thorough preparation would sometimes put her at odds with old Hollywood's more casual approach to filmmaking. Sinatra, already a legendary figure with his own production company and decades of experience, operated under the philosophy that spontaneity and first instincts produce the most authentic performances, rarely requiring more than one or two takes to capture what he considered the essence of a scene. MacLaine, still establishing herself as a serious dramatic actress, found Sinatra's rapid-fire work style both impressive and infuriating. Director Vincente Minnelli, caught between his leading man's established methods and his leading lady's emerging perfectionism, often had to negotiate compromises that satisfied neither performer completely. Frank treated acting like jazz, remembered assistant director Ridgway Callow, but Shirley approached it like classical music, where every note had to be precisely placed. The tension extended beyond mere work style differences to fundamental questions about the actor's responsibility to the material. MacLaine felt that Sinatra's casual professionalism, while undeniably effective, showed insufficient respect for the craft that she was working so hard to master. Her requests for additional takes and deeper character exploration were met with Sinatra's characteristic impatience, creating an atmosphere of mutual frustration that occasionally erupted into heated exchanges. The conflict also highlighted the changing dynamics of Hollywood power structures, as MacLaine's assertiveness challenged the traditional hierarchy that placed established male stars at the top of the creative food chain. Shirley wouldn't back down from anyone, Minnelli later recalled, not even Frank Sinatra, and that took a kind of courage that wasn't common in young actresses at the time. Jack Nicholson.
With Jack. You know, there's a scene where Aurora goes over and
His house.
yeah, and she says, "Well, now, did you ask me to lunch about a year ago, or a year and a half?"
The dynamic between Shirley MacLaine and Jack Nicholson during their work together, particularly around terms of endearment, created a fascinating study in how two powerhouse personalities can simultaneously respect and irritate each other within the confines of a single production. Both actors brought decades of experience and Oscar-caliber talent to their collaborations, yet their approaches to wielding that talent often put them on opposing sides of creative decisions. Nicholson's legendary charisma and improvisational genius, which had charmed audiences and co-stars for years, met its match in MacLaine's unwavering focus and refusal to be overshadowed by anyone's star power. Their competitive energy became apparent during scene work, where Nicholson's tendency to explore character through playful improvisation clashed with MacLaine's preference for disciplined preparation and precise execution. Crew members reported that their exchanges, both in character and between takes, carried an electric tension that kept everyone on set alert to the possibility of creative fireworks. They were like two alpha wolves circling each other, observed cinematographer Andrei Bartkowiak, each respecting the other's strength while refusing to submit. The friction intensified when Nicholson's natural inclination to dominate scenes through sheer force of personality encountered MacLaine's equally strong determination to maintain her character's integrity and screen presence. Director James L. Brooks found himself managing not just their performances, but their mutual stubbornness about character motivation and scene interpretation. Their debates about emotional truth and character authenticity often extended well beyond scheduled rehearsal times. Despite their professional tensions, both actors recognized the quality that made the other formidable, leading to a grudging mutual admiration that never quite translated into easy collaboration. Jack's brilliant, but he's also relentless, MacLaine later observed, and I suppose he'd say the same about me. Their relationship embodied the complex reality that great artists don't always make comfortable collaborators. 1. Anthony Hopkins. The professional relationship between Shirley MacLaine and Anthony Hopkins, while never fully realized on screen in a major collaboration, became a subject of industry fascination due to their reported creative incompatibility during various development processes throughout the 1990s. Hopkins, with his meticulous preparation methods and almost scientific approach to character construction, represented a stark contrast to MacLaine's more intuitive and spiritually driven acting philosophy. Their few encounters during casting sessions and project meetings revealed two Academy Award-winning talents whose excellence manifested through completely opposing methodologies. Hopkins's legendary preparation rituals, including his practice of learning entire scripts by heart and analyzing every character beat with mathematical precision, struck MacLaine as overthinking that could potentially drain the spontaneous life force she believed essential to great performances. Agents and producers who witnessed their interactions described a polite but unmistakable creative friction, as each actor's confidence in their own proven methods made compromise unlikely. Anthony approaches a role like a surgeon preparing for an operation, noted casting director Marion Doherty, while Shirley trusts her instincts like a dancer following music. The cultural differences in their acting traditions added another layer of complexity to their professional dynamic. Hopkins's classical British training, with its emphasis on technical mastery and textual analysis, conflicted with MacLaine's more American approach that valued emotional authenticity and personal connection to character. Their few recorded conversations about craft revealed fundamental disagreements about whether great acting emerged from intellectual understanding or emotional intuition. Industry observers noted that their mutual respect for each other's achievements only heightened their frustration with each other's methods, creating a situation where collaborations seemed both potentially magnificent and practically impossible. They're both perfectionists, reflected producer Scott Rudden, but they're pursuing completely different definitions of perfection. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Hollywood's most fascinating creative tensions, don't forget to subscribe for more behind-the-scenes insights into the legends who shaped cinema history.